Hey, everybody. Big Mike on the mic coming at you. TMWC on April 30th. So this was the way I left my house in the morning. If you look closely on my garment, it says 6:05. So not so bad. Looks pretty dry outside, and I shouldn't have any problems today whatsoever. Yeah. So it did not turn out that way. So this is me wringing my socks out after the ride. It's amazing how dirty they are when one is done. So how did we get to such a cold, wet, and miserable place? Well, riding on out, it started to drizzle a bit. I met Mr. Sean here, and pretty much that's what the rest of the ride looked like. As we approached the starting point, it began to downpour rather heavily, and I told Sean, who you saw up there a little bit further, that I was turning around. Now, my intention was to turn around and go home, except I see this guy sitting on the corner waiting for the group, and of course, I had to wait for the group, and it seemed like it started to dry out a little bit. And that's what I did. I sat there with that guy. I'm not sure who that guy is. I think he has an RC jersey on. We'll call him RC Jersey Guy. So here comes the group. There's Sean again, Mikey Z, bunch of people. And look at some of these guys have jackets on. Now, it's not like we don't actually have pockets where we can carry stuff, like a really super cool jacket that I bought the other day from Two Hubs at a nicely discounted price. It's just a gorgeous, nicely fitting rain jacket, which happens to be at this particular time in the morning and right now as I speak and make this video, hanging in my garage with not one drop of water on it. Could have been used today in these quite wet. And I wasn't honestly really miserable until started going home. That's when I became pretty darn miserable. Even right here, I'm not too miserable. I'm just laughing at, laugh not. The weather will not get me today. Ha, ha, ha. It actually kind of did get me. So nice of you guys to pull out those road hazards when it rains. All kinds of interesting road hazards can pop up on the road. Surprised we didn't get more flats. Typically get a fair number of flats during the rain too, just because of the debris that's ending up out on the street. Knock on wood, I don't believe anybody, I didn't see anybody flat. Not saying nobody flatted, but I did not see anybody flat. So anyways, we do have a couple guys here who are smarter than I and smarter than some of the rest of us that have vests and nice cycling jerseys on. That's me doing a very professional finger wipe on the camera in order to keep the water off the camera. Sounds easier than it actually is to do. So we're going up the Melinda climb here and getting towards the top. Watch this light. I thought this was actually pretty darn funny. Now, any other day, we would have all gone blowing through that light as we tromped up the climb, but it was a miracle that we actually all decided to come to a stop. And everybody is kind of, I think, going, wow, we actually came to a stop here. So anyway, I just thought that was quite humorous on the Tuesday morning wet cycling boutique ride. Okay, so on to the fun stuff. As if that wasn't a whole lot of fun getting to this point. So I've got the power information up there, and I put a new mount on the bars there, and it kept tipping down, so I had to keep lifting it up. So that's what the camera view looks like when it's tilted down due to vibration. You think I'd be riding so fast that the wind would just hold the camera upright. So we're on the El Toro Trail here. You've got percent grade, my cadence, power, my heart rate. And as I was watching this a little bit earlier, there's something not right with my heart rate monitor. So I've gone on to Amazon and ordered a new one. We had these two ladies out here riding, which I also thought very humorous at what is about, 7 o'clock in the morning now, why they were out in such miserable weather. Like us, a bunch of crazy yahoos, is honestly beyond me. And as I am narrating this wet tale of cycling madness, I'm wondering why I wasn't in bed with my most beautiful woman as well. Instead, I'm out here with you guys pedaling a bike in the rain. Yeah, I guess we are. You know what? That woman's right. We are a bunch of idiots, but, we're happy and miserable wet idiots on our bikes. So the ride was, I think the A and B group kind of merged together, except for orange jersey guy Mark, Mr. Mark, who came up to us at the end of the ride, having, I believe, ridden solo in the rain. So we're a bunch of yahoos. I don't know what that actually makes Mark. But I'm actually on my old 2006 Specialized Tarmac S-Works. And as you know, my poor Sarto bike got essentially cut in half by a series of unfortunate events a couple weeks ago.
I didn't find any appointments for tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Really, Siri? No, Siri, you shouldn't. And I'm not even sure why you're talking. I'm not sure I understand what you're doing there either, Siri, so I'm turning you off. All right, so Siri must have heard my cycling voice and decided to chime in. So, whatever it was I was talking about, my Sarto being cut in half. I've been out in search of a new bike as I'm waiting for insurance to figure out how much I'm going to get for my bike, which is, honestly, guys, it ain't worth it. So let's just say don't get hit by a car and think you're going to be getting a new bike and all is going to be wonderful, because it just doesn't quite work out that way. So I have been riding a plethora of bikes, including a beautiful Cipollini Road Bike 1, thank you to Hubs, a beautiful Tarmac 2019 Tarmac S-Works with the new SRAM Red Axis 24-speed group set on it, which I really liked. I rode that on a Como Street. I rode a Cipollini gravel bike, which I had a ton of fun on. And, I've ridden one or two other bikes. I have decided on a bike to buy, but I'm going to keep that a secret and probably do a video on all of the various conniption fits one can put themselves through on trying to figure out what to do when it comes time to buy a new bike or to replace a bike that got destroyed. It's really not very fun. It's both fun and not fun at the same time, kind of like this ride that we're on. So anyways, we're out here in the rain. My heart rate says 66 BPM, which that's usually what it is when I'm sitting on the couch and not doing anything. So something ain't working right with my heart rate monitor. And like I said, I'm getting a new one. Thank you, Amazon. So we're just going up the El Toro Trail here, and I'll probably advance things ahead to where where we start throwing down here on the climb. Going up Live Oak. So what I'm going to do here is pause through the magic of editing. I'm going to pause this video and pick back up as we turn onto Live Oak. All right, stand by. Okay, then we just added the page peel video transition as we make the turn past Cook's Corner, going up Live Oak in what is now a fairly good rain squall. So we actually went up this climb pretty darn quick. We're not going too hard here. You're going to see things ramp up here in just a bit, but I believe I went up this. I think the guys who crested here at the top, I'll keep you in suspense, but if you were on the ride, you know who that was, who crested the top first, and we actually, all three of us did it in the same time, which was 4 minutes and 34 seconds, which is that's pretty fast for me. It's not a PR, but it's pretty fast. All right, so there goes, look at this guy, Joe, man. He has gotten a lot better. I like his striped socks, and he just took off like a banshee on a wet spring day in California. Were there banshees in California? I think they were the Chumash Indians in California. Don't ask me how I know that. And Stevie, I just love how he grinds on that bike. We got Charlie chasing. We had Mikey Z up there chasing things down, and I decided to chase things down too. Now, what I actually find quite funny about this video is if you look at my Garmin, and again, didn't really have my camera positioned quite correctly, you kind of see this big blob. We'll call it the blob, the Garmin blob, that somehow miraculously manages to stay in that position and just kind of jellyfish itself around as it, I guess, surface tension brings up water. So there was my camera dropping down again and me attempting to fix it. So we've got a nice little attack going on here by Mr. Joe, who, if I was so miserable I wasn't watching people's pedaling styles and cadences. You can see mine. My cadence is accurate, but definitely my heart rate at 48 beats per minute, that would really be something. I'd basically be comatose here at 48. There's my he's not RC, it's RCC. I apologize, I do not know your name. Strong rider. He did very well today, and you can see him just hammering and spinning quite well. Charlie, I believe, is on his gravel / cross bike / whatever is hip today. Although I do get it, having ridden a gravel bike, I really had a great time riding it. So we're making pretty good pace up here, and I've got this world-class heart rate of 48 beats per minute as I'm going 500 watts up the climb at 8%. So I am slowly but surely spinning my way back up to the Lilliputians, and you're all Lilliputians except for a few other riders out on the road. By the way, there's another big Mike out there. When you see this guy, you will know who he is because he's bigger than me. You actually should call him Big Mike. I saw him the other day in Two Hubs, and that guy is essentially a giant on a bike. He's one of the biggest people I've ever seen on a bike, and he makes me a Lilliputian. So except for him, all the rest of y'all are Lilliputians. All right, so Joe's making good pace up there. We're slowly reeling him in. I am using Mikey Z's and RCC Kit Guy using their wheel, and even, how fast am I going? 10 miles an hour? They say that you still get a draft at up to around 9.5, 10 miles an hour, somewhere in that range, and up to 5-6% gradient. So we're above the gradient, but our speed is, now our speed has dropped down to 9. So don't know if I'm getting much of a draft. Let's just say I used as much draft as I possibly could until I started to use the massive torque that I have in my, they used to be pretty darn good legs. They're a little bit older than they used to be. Ain't that the case with all of us, though? So I was really proud of myself that I passed Mikey Z because he's been riding the hills really well. And Joe and I here had a real battle. It's too bad you can't actually see him, but we were going mano a mano up the climb. And I'm thinking, I got him. I got this young guy. I know how to suffer better than he does. And then look who comes around me. Son of a gun. Talk about using your friends. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. No, keep your enemies close, but your friends closer. Whatever. There's some saying about that, how your friends are stab you in the back as you're going over the climb. So here we go on the descent, and I'm a pretty gosh darn good descender. And look, even on the descent, we still have the blob. The blob is still on my Garmin. How is that even possible? Don't look at it. You might turn into one. So yeah, this is pretty stupid crazy here going downhill at even at what I consider to be a fairly benign pace at 35. I usually can get up to 45, maybe even sometimes 50 after that steep downhill portion there on the backside of the wall. But we're just, it's just, guys, it ain't worth it in the rain, right? It just ain't worth it. But then we always have some guys who are going to get in the Peter Sagan super tuck position on a rainy day on wet roads. I just love, you know what? I love you guys. I love the sport. I love giving you a hard time. I love the pain and suffering. There was plenty of pain and suffering to go around today. We got the super tuck going on a rainy TMWC because, there are brownie points to be had up here. There are some serious brownie points to be made. And once we get onto that drag strip and, you want to get on that podium on a day like today. So these boys are they're just going for it. So there's the three of us. I think there's a couple guys behind me. Honestly, I did not want to look behind me because I was worried about what was going to go on up in front of me with these guys in their super tuck position. So look, and the blob is still there, even going 30-something miles an hour. We still have a little bit of the blob hanging on. Just can't get rid of that. Somebody's going to have to make a movie out of that thing. The TMWC blob on the Garmin. But we were still, even if those guys were super tucking, we weren't really going that fast. And hey, I got Mr. RCC guy again. Again, strong rider, real solid on the cadence. He was solid the whole way. And I think we got a couple other guys that will join. So, yep, we're still here on the descent, and I think I will do the magic of movie making again and give this a pause and get here towards the finish. And page PO video transition. Hey, you're going to see Big Mike do something he doesn't do too often. We were just kind of cruising down here, 4 or 5 of us, and I decided to throw down a little bit because the pace had dropped. And we got to preserve those podium positions on such a day like today. So I put a little dig in here just for the heck of it, because I pretty much know I'm going to get my legs ripped off on the corkscrew, on the steeper parts of the corkscrew. So doing my little dig here, the blob on my Garmin is still with us. And I believe Mikey G goes, not Mikey Z, but Mikey G goes flying past me, and you'll see the ultimate movo is made here by, spurned on by Mikey G and a few others who went on his wheel and eventually prevailed on the day. So I'm kind of waiting for them to go blowing by me, because you can see I've slowed down quite a bit after doing my dig. So yeah, there he goes. There's the attack. There's the attack of the day. That's the move of the day right there. Mikey Z, who never didn't love a wheel, decides not to follow. But Joe goes, and then I believe RCC guy goes. So there's your 1, 2, 3 podium on this very wet TMWC day. Those guys just essentially right away. I'll let the video here roll a little bit more. So we got that car gave us some decent. He gave us some. He gave us more than 3 feet. So there are some decent motorists out there, and let's not forget, we ain't exactly the most law-abiding crowd on the face of the earth either. Sometimes, so we're going over the creek here and heading up the corkscrew. I'm actually just kind of maintaining my distance to these guys, but I never really significantly pull them back. And I came in the absolute worst place one can come in if one is counting coup or earning brownie points or collecting gold stars or attaboys. That would be 4th place. So I managed to come in to 4th, even though I reeled them in a little bit here. But again, they're climber guys, and yeah, I just need I need to pedal a little bit harder for a little bit longer at 10% gradients. Easier said than done, though, when you're 100 kilos or close to it. All right, let's show some happy faces here at the end of the day, shall we? So you might ask, why the smiling faces? Well, we are laughing at Mother Nature. She's throwing everything she can at us here this Tuesday morning World Wet Championship, and we laugh in our face and we give it a thumbs up with our buds out there fighting the good fight.
That's what fourth place feels like on TMWC. There's a podium right there.
Although one could certainly make the argument that I wasn't exactly smiling, but good times all around. All right, everybody, peace out. We'll see you out there.